I'd like to thank the gift of art for starting me on a pastime that has really brought a lot of pleasure to my life when things have been pretty hard. It's gotten me through a lot of hours in both the hospital and at home when I found something that I could do, and it was different from just obsessively Googling, as I have a hankering to do at times. I started coloring because I was waiting to get discharged from the hospital, and that's a process that takes hours. Even if they tell you it's going to be in 1 hour, that translates 3 more hours. Somebody dropped off a coloring book and a box of crayons while I was in the bathroom, and I came out and, oh, look at this. And I opened the book and looked through and said, oh, this owl isn't very complicated. I can do that. And I sat down and started coloring. And I'm not a color in the lines kind of person. And I had one drawing class in college, and it was one of the techniques was to draw lines reminiscent of Vincent van Gogh, and it was definitely a color outside the line. So this simple owl fit that really well. So, and the nurses and the techs, they were watching and was like, wow, that's pretty cool, because I used a lot of colors from the crayon box to give the night sky a depth and a reflection that when you look at the sky, it's not a solid color. It's lots of colors, and the night sky changes depending on the season, the time of day, the clouds. It's just a simple thing. And I took home the coloring book in the box of crayons, and the next thing that I did was this simple drum. And I was like, yeah, I love mixing the colors and just love combining the color to make new colors on the page. And then I did a sunflower, and I wasn't really sure what a sunflower with a face should look like. So I looked on Google to see, well, what would a sunflower look like, and was inspired to use the peaches and the yellows, and how do I make the leaves different textures and stuff, and how do I make the background? And the medium was just so fun to experiment with, and the pictures were big, and I didn't care if I colored outside the lines with this technique. Who cares? It's coloring. There's nothing really to go wrong here. This was one of my favorites. This is titled Arizona Hacienda Sunrise. My good friends Tad and Karen moved from Michigan to Arizona, and I spent a week with them, and I just loved Arizona. And not just because they were there, but I loved the colors of the rocks and the textures of the landscapes, and how at different points in the mountains, the landscapes and the floras and the faunas would change, and the colors that would change, and that during the different times of day, the colors of the mountains would change. So in this one, this is at night, that's why it's blue. It's pre-dawn, but the sun is coming up behind the churches, the haciendas. And then these are the contour lines of the mountains and the cactuses that are on the landscape of, and then these are the magic mushrooms, the magic of all that power that the sun brings, and those reflections on the desert, and the many, many colors and textures of the desert and the mountains, and how when it does rain, how it change the little things that move because the water hit them, and otherwise they'd been static. And I was so impressed by the whole scene of Arizona that I would go there before I'd go to Hawaii. Hawaii was just a fancy Florida. On the Handellas, my most recent ones are, I've been thinking about succulent plants. And what do succulent plants look like, and how when they dry they shrivel, but when they get wet they expand, and trying to just channel what do the succulent plants tell us. But sometimes the pictures, they're just seeing what happens too. That some of the Handellas at the top row were just tracing my hand and seeing what would happen, that they didn't particularly have a story, just wanted to know how to make the patterns and how to combine the colors, and really didn't know what was going to happen with them. But surprise! They're kind of cool. Keep going, that would look at them and, okay, what colors haven't I used? And again, make sure I combined all the colors of the color box and not get focused on just one combination. That combine them all and see what happens. Don't leave anybody out. This picture is titled Storm Cat, and I made it, was thinking about my friend's cat. Her name was Hannah. She loved going out in a good storm. You couldn't get her in for anything. And so this kitty is celebrating the storm. That's Hannah. It doesn't particularly look like her, but that's who it is. And the rain in this picture is the rainbow rain. And then this doggie next to Hannah, this is my friend Claire Bear. Claire is a German wirehead pointer, and she's 13 years old. And I've walked her many, many, many days. For years, I walked her 5 days a week. And Claire has helped me for so many years recover from so many things. Walking Claire helped me get stronger so that it didn't bother me. And then I had gone blind from cataracts. But because I had walked Claire for so many years, even when I couldn't see, I could walk with Claire, and she knew where to go. I could go out even in the dark and walk with her, and she helped me relearn how to walk. So she's the best therapy. I gotta get out of the hospital so I can see Claire. Just go pet her. Those soft ears. She looks like a Muppet. She's not the prettiest dog on the planet, but she's certainly the best. So this butterfly was done with the pencil, and then this butterfly looks very different. I did this one with some magic mercury pens that were real thick. I was like, wow, they kind of make a mess, and they're filling it in. So I decided, well, we'll make it so you can't see where the lines begin and end, and make it look like the butterflies flying through the leaves. And let's break it up so that and there was little designs that I didn't care for, so I just drew over them. Who says I have to keep that artist's vision? This is my picture. This one I titled The Wheel of 84. It's a pretty picture, and it's got all these contour lines, but we get sucked into it. The Wheel of 87 was an Indian concept of how life gets reincarnated, and we get stuck doing things over and over again. And we get attracted to the pretties, and we don't get out. And sometimes what we think is pretty, like we're repeating the bad cycle. And we got to realize, no, I got to get out. I got to get out of that wheel. And this was all kind of symmetrical, but yet the contour lines are not symmetrical because these things are messy. So that's what I was thinking about as I was coloring it in. Just don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in. get out, let go of these things, let go. We'll be better off. I'll be better off if I let go of the lust, the anger, greed, the attachment, and pride. Like, attachment can be lots of things. It could be attached to, I want to be home, I want to be home, I want to be home. If I think like that, I get sucked into the negative, and I'm not having a good time. Or I'm too good to do that therapy, and I have to be pride. And, well, then I'm not helping myself, am I? And try to just, like lust, oh, they have something, lust isn't just romantic lust. You can lust for, they have better health than I do. No. Don't get sucked in. It might be pretty. Don't look over there. Keep your eyes on your own paper. And so I tell myself sermons as I do it, and tell myself different stories, and that was the story I was thinking about as I did that one.